Let's talk a little bit about the validity and criticism of both the results and the methodology. So first, the instruments used, the EMG, the optical encoder for the 3D cinematography, and the pantograph. Um, there's a lot of data to heavily support that these are very precise instruments. They do normalize the results, so there's a high standard deviation uh, within the table, so we don't get a lot of individuality. It would be great if we were able to see specific subjects and how their specific horizontal displacement EMG activity changed throughout the loading conditions. As far as the subject population, is one reason that we got the results because the subjects were 25 years old, training for a year and a half, weighed about 180, 235-pound bench press. There's no indication that they were elite lifters. In fact, one of the requirements was to train at least 2 to 5 times a day. And there was another statement, and they had not done any arm work in the previous 24 hours. I imagine with this level of broness, there's probably a lot of arm work and maybe not leg work 3 times a week. Does the lack of evidence showing do they have an arch or a flat back, so the amount of extension, leg drive, consistent touch point, bar travel, fatigue, all of these variables could potentially affect the muscle firing sequence. And as far as the pec major and the lats function, the lat function, the anatomical function, works against shoulder flexion. Why do we see a spike in EMG activity right off the chest? What is the role of the lats? Is the pec major the only stabilizer in the 100% one rep max? Why wouldn't we see a gradual decrease of pec major activation, especially at 90% loads? We would expect to see even more pec major activation when the weight gets heavier, gets harder, and with the horizontal displacement has to travel further. Why has the body learned to solve this particular problem with this strategy? And the lats seem to increase the highest on the descent. The descent pretty consistent with everything between loaded conditions. The lats increase the highest. Perhaps they're reaching some critical mass at the 100% of the one rep max descent that changes their role. All these different questions go into what's happening with the lats.